Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Let's get this camera together. Good evening. It is Tuesday. It is time for Tuesday Night Live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello. Can you all hear me? Please say hello in the chat. Let me know where you are viewing from and let me know if you can hear me. And then I'll be good. I'll know. All right, let me turn this down. I got all my screens going on, phone screens, all that good stuff. Welcome, welcome, everybody. It's Tuesday. Yes. And I didn't have to go into the office today, which I don't usually go in on Tuesday. We have to go into our office. Hello, Tiffany. We have to go into our office on Mondays and Wednesdays. We work in the office and then occasional Thursdays. So we didn't go in Monday and we just got the update that we're not going into the office Wednesday either. So yeah, here in Texas, I know some of you laugh about it. It wasn't that much ice or snow, but it doesn't take that much ice or snow to tear a place up that's not built for ice and snow, right? So there's been multiple accidents on the road and it's just kind of hazardous. So they tell you if you don't absolutely have to be out on the road, don't get on the road. And I don't absolutely have to be out on the road. Yeah, I can do my job, thank God, from home unless I have like a class or something like that. So I have been in the house for a week and it's been okay. What about the rest of you out there? Does that drive you stir crazy to be in the house that long, like not able to get out? And I guess I could have got out, but I don't want no accident. I made sure to get all my food before. I didn't go to the store. I saw pictures of what it looked like. I ordered some groceries, but now it's about time to get out. Yeah, it's about time to get out. So I will be getting out probably tomorrow. What about you? How is the weather where you are? Well, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. I have lots of cruise news stories to talk to you about tonight. I have some questions that I have for you and some great, super great wave season cruise deals. So let me see. I was good, but not wanting it to last past this weekend. Yeah. On the weekend, a lot of times we want to get out and do things, right? So, here in Texas, it'll be back in the 60s by the weekend. So we're good. We're good. Thank you for joining me tonight. Let me make sure that I have said hello. Please do give me that thumbs up. Give us a like. That helps with this YouTube algorithm. Type in the chat where you're viewing from, but give us a like and let's jump into it. I have 7 huge stories to share with you tonight. Big stories. You've probably heard of some of them. You might not have heard of any of them, but I want to jump into those tonight because I want to make sure we have enough time to discuss all the wave season deals. Cruises, I'm telling you right now, they are vying for your dollars. They want your money. So there's a lot of deals going on. And this might be the perfect time to try a different cruise line. If you've always been a Royal Caribbean fan, how about trying Disney? If you've always been a Norwegian fan, why not try Azamara? Maybe you wanted to try a luxury cruise brand, maybe it's time to get on a Regent 7 Seas. Well, all of them have great cruise deals right now. So we're going to talk about it. But let me jump into the first story. Let me make sure I have everything. We're going to go over to Royal Caribbean. How many of you, that's your favorite cruise line? Yep. What is your favorite? Type it in the chat. What is your favorite Royal Caribbean ship? What's your favorite Royal Caribbean ship? Or if you have never been on Royal Caribbean, what is the one ship that you want to get on by Royal Caribbean brand? Type it in the chat. I'm looking to get on the Icon. I know the Star of the Sea is the newest one, but I am super excited to get on the Icon of the Seas, the original one that came out 2 years ago that started this all, this gigantic love of Icon. 2 years ago, Icon came out. Next year, they will be home ported out here in Texas. So Icon of the Seas for me. Let me tell you what's going on with Royal. And some Royal Caribbean fans are not happy. And I'm going to ask you, if this happened to you, how would you feel? All right. We all know, or at least if you follow me, I've been letting you know Their newest Icon class ship, the Legend of the Seas. Well, it's being built. Harmony of the Seas. Yep. It's being built and it's almost ready. Almost ready because their inaugural sailing is July 11th. So we have some excited Royal Caribbean fans who have booked their cruise. They're going to be on the, Legend of the Seas, November. Why did I say November? July 11th of this very year. And it's going to be the seven night Mediterranean out of Italy, out of Civitavecchia. I think I said it right this time, right? The inaugural sailing. If you have paid for that cruise, you've paid top dollar. I'm sure that the least expensive price that you could have possibly got that for was about $2,000, $2,500 per person. I'm talking about to be on an inside. Remember, it's over in Italy. So if you live in the States, you've paid the money to get over there. Hotel fees, you've paid, upwards of $4,000 or $5,000 on the low end for this cruise. People have shelled out big bucks to be one of the first on this brand new Icon class ship. I get it. So if you are the type who will put down that much cash to get on the maiden voyage of a ship, it means something to you. You did it on purpose, right? Let me tell you what happened though. Royal Caribbean just pulled the launch forward again. What do I mean by that? The Legend of the Seas, which is, as I said, the third Icon class ship, they have their inaugural sailing July 11th, except now they don't. They've changed that inaugural sailing. Royal Caribbean says, hey, we've got great news, everybody. Legend will be ready earlier. A lot of times when you book new cruise ships, you know the deal, the pain that we went through with Jubilee, that they're usually pushed back. Delays of whatever type, and the sailings are pushed back. Not the Legend. The Legend said, we're ready early. So since we're ready early, and of course, cruising is a money-making venture, they decided, well, we're not going to just sit on the ship and wait. We are going to have an earlier sailing. So everybody who thought they had paid for the inaugural sailing of the ship, well, now you're paying for sailing number 2 of this ship. The Legend will do its first sailing on the 4th of July. That is right. July 4th, 1 week ahead, will now be the inaugural sailing for that cruise ship. All right, to be fair, they didn't just, say, too bad, you guys. They reached out first to everybody who was booked on the July 11th sailing. And they said, okay, listen, the Legend of the Seas is going to be available 1 week early. If you would like to switch to that sailing, we'll switch you. No additional fees. We won't charge you anything additional. And as a matter of fact, if you get into the same type of cabin and it's less, we'll even, refund you money. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm telling you everything. So no changes. We'll switch you over, right? They got absolute first dibs at this before they opened it up to the public. They have price protection, everything. So it sounds all good, right? Right. Except like some of you probably are thinking, what if you can't? A lot of us still have a 9-to-5 kind of job situation, and you take time off. You have to get it approved and you take the time off, and you might have to work with coworkers to cover things. So not everybody is able to just say, no problem, I'll just switch weeks. Now, some of us can, but not everybody can. And Royal Caribbean is even covering, like if you have, like if you need to change your flight, they'll cover that too. They're being generous. But the bottom line is everybody just can't switch that sailing. Everybody just can't do it. But that is what's happening. So let me see. You have price protection. You still get the lowest prevailing rate. And like I said, they will assist if you had that air to sea package with changes in reimbursement. And they'll give you up to $200 to help change your air and or hotel fees. And if you're doing it international, $400 per person. So they are offering them something, but everybody couldn't do it, right? If you keep the July 11th cruise, it still carries the showcase vibe. They're going to have specific merch that's only going to be available for the inaugural sailings and specific programming. So you'll still get that feeling as if it's the inaugural sailing. It just won't be the first. You won't be the first one on board. All right. That is the first icon class controversy. All right, I want to know, what do you think? What do you think? Are you tempted? So now, if you wanted to go on the Legend of the Seas and you wanted to do the inaugural sailing, now you can, because bookings are open. You can book July 4th on the Legend of the Seas. I would be happy to help you book that, but it's available. You can go on yourself. You can get your helpful, friendly travel advisor. You can go straight to the Royal Caribbean's website, because you too now can book the 4th of July inaugural sailing of the Legend of the Seas. It's going to sell out. It's going to sell, as expensive as it is, it's going to sell out. This is a big deal. Brand new ships are always fun, right? And the third icon class over in Europe, yeah, it's going to be a big deal. I'm not sure how I feel for the July 11th people. I think I would be upset. That's what I'm thinking. Even if they gave me $400 to help me change my flights, and even if they said, we're going to cover all the fees here, I think I would be upset. You planned out the inaugural sailing with thought and for a reason. I don't think it would just be, I think I would have an issue with it. What about you? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one. The Legend will do her maiden voyage July 4th and then come back around and do July 11th. And then she's going to come to Florida. She'll be repositioned into Florida for her Caribbean runs after her Mediterranean season. So she's going to stay in the Med for a bit, but eventually she's going to make her way down to Florida, and the Legend will be here in Florida or in the United States doing Caribbean cruises. Any of you booked on the Legend of the Seas? Anybody? Or are you thinking about booking the Legend? Do you think it'll be much different than Star or Icon? What do you think? Have you been on an Icon class ship? I am very interested to know. Drop it down in the comments. And for those of you, anybody affected by that, have anybody booked on the July 11th sailing and now you got the notice that there's now going to be a July 4th sailing? Yeah, not funny at all. Let me know your thoughts. We would love to hear your thoughts about it in the comments below. All right. I'm very tempted. A 4th of July cruise out of Italy on the world's largest cruise ship. Sounds good to me. Yeah. All right. All right. Let me keep going with the cruise news because we have a lot. And I need to make sure there's time for the deals at the end. Have you heard about the new law in Mexico? And this is pretty serious because a lot of cruise ships go to Mexico. A lot of them. Yes. Would be upset by Royal is offering some good. Yeah, they are. They're trying to hold on to their fans. They're trying to hold on to their people, but they have to make money. They're like, sorry, we are not sitting on this multi-million dollar billion-dollar ship for a week just because. We're putting it out there because they know that it'll sell out. They know it'll sell out. So yeah, they're going to make their money. I totally understand. It's a business. Okay, let me get back to the next cruise news story. Mexico. So we've left Italy in Royal, and now we're coming over here to Mexico. So on our cruises, the majority of them, or a lot of them, go to Mexico, some type of Mexican stop, right? And many go to Cozumel. So if you are a cruiser and you are going to be headed to Mexico anytime soon, I've got a warning for you and a public service announcement, because this is effective immediately and they're not playing around. And ignorance is no excuse. You can be fined or you can be jailed. They're not playing around. Let me tell you about it. And if you've seen my videos, you might already know, but the new vaping law, and this is effective January 17th. Let me read it. Mexico began enforcing this nationwide ban that actually criminalizes all activities that are related to vapes and e-cigarettes. So especially if you are a vapor, if you use e-cigarettes, or someone you know, love, or travel with, uses vapes or e-cigs. Now, this includes bringing a device ashore during a port call. That includes it. So under this reform to the general health law, travelers can face, first of all, confiscation. So they're letting you know. If they catch you with it, they're going to take it. It's theirs. Fines reportedly that go all the way up to $12,500. Can you imagine a vape and you're caught with that and they're telling you you now owe them $12,500? Detainment. How about that? We're keeping you. We told you not to do it. You're stuck here. And in more serious cases, actually prison. And it says terms up to 8 years. 8 years? 8 years for stepping off with some. Okay. I don't vape or do e-cigs, but many, many people do. And I have friends that do. This, it could definitely catch you unaware because this went into effect January 17th. Okay, let me tell you why this is so important for us cruisers. When you step off the ship, anything that you carry is treated as an import, even if it's for personal use. So carrying a vape across the gangway into like Cozumel, that's a violation. Lines have started warning guests headed to Mexico ports to leave the vapes on board at all times. Just leave them at home. So I said also in another video that I've done about this, and don't think you can hide it. You can get away with it, put it in your this or put it in your that and go off the ship. They know that people are trying to do that. So they are cracking down on this. Extra X-ray machines and the dogs, the sniffing dogs, they have beefed up, ramped that up, and they're out looking for people trying to hide these devices. So don't try to get over. Just say, throw your hands up and say, all right, you win. I'll just leave it. I'll leave it. That's going to be the one port or any other like Mexico port that you're just going to have to wait. Don't take it. Don't take it. Yes. This can be a big deal. If you vape, use e-cigs, and oh my goodness, if you have CBD or THC products, once again, a violation. That's the kind of stuff that they could actually imprison you for. So be warned, cruisers going to Mexico. If you know anybody who does vape or uses e-cigarettes, let them know. Tell them, share this information with them, because this law went into effect January 17th and they are cracking down. I'd love to know if this law, does it change you or your circumstance at all? Does it change your packing list for a Western Caribbean cruise? Does it make you not want to go to Mexico? You think you need to switch and go to a different port? Yeah. I know, right? I hear why are they so against this? I don't have all the ins and outs of why in particular they're cracking down on that. Usually it has to do with economy, money. All I know is if you are caught with that, it's not going to be good. Even if the least is that they kind of like embarrass you and take it from you, that's still not good, right? But up to being fined or imprisoned, who would want to accidentally, because some people will forget that they're used to having it. You go and you forget, you accidentally have an e-cig and they detain you and then the ship leaves. No, it's not worth it. So don't accidentally leave one in your pocket. Check your pockets, because Mexico is going to check your pocket. Yeah. So any of you headed to Mexico anytime soon, know that this law is in effect and they mean business. Yep. Let me know. And don't forget, give us the thumbs up. Tap down on the thumbs up. Let me know if this changes anything for you. I'm trying to think. My next cruise, we're not, the next two, we're not headed to Mexico. So, and I don't vape, so I'm good, but I'm sharing this with everybody else because I know many do. Yep. All right. That is story number 2. We still have many more to go. Now, this one is scary. This one's a scary one. I don't want you to be scared, but this is a scary one. And I mean, when you hear stories like this, you think that could have been me. That could have been me. It's about a bus fire. A bus fire. I don't know. Have you heard about this? This one was tough. So over the weekend during Winter Storm Fern, so I'm going to stop right there. Winter Storm Fern has been wreaking havoc down in the south and all in the bottom half of the country here. Winter Storm Fern has been dumping ice, dumping snow, dumping frigid, freezing temperatures that has been affecting travel and definitely affecting roads. Right before I started this live, I sent a video, two videos actually, just in the city that I live in, all of the shutdowns and the accidents and the overturned vehicles and the trucks. It's been a mess. And we've probably had less than 2 inches of ice, right? So this was another winter storm Fern going on. So over the weekend during winter storm Fern, a coach bus that was carrying about 50 passengers returning from an MSC sailing. Well, the bus caught fire on I-95 North near exit 11 in Darien, Connecticut. Can you imagine that? I don't want to imagine that. I don't want you to imagine that. But I'm just thinking you're finished with your cruise. You've probably had the time of your life. You're getting ready to head back to the normal routine. You might be resting, you might be tired, and then your bus catches on fire in the middle of a winter storm. It's outrageous. So first responders had to shut down the highway, of course. Everyone was evacuated, but there were multiple passengers who were transported to local hospitals, mostly for evaluation, and there were some who had minor injuries. There were other people who had injuries also, but they were able to be treated right there at the scene. So the good news is no one had serious injuries. No one was killed. Just so glad, that it wasn't a tragedy like that. Locals said that the group was later transferred to another bus. I don't know. I would be so leery to get on another bus. I mean, you would be freezing and cold and traumatized and ready to go home, but then they're like, "We've got another bus coming." I'd be like, okay. But they were transferred to another bus and they continued into Massachusetts. Now, this is the interesting thing. The cause remains under investigation. We have no idea at this point in time. Today is January 27th of 2026. So at this point in time, we have no idea why that bus caught fire. Buses don't usually just catch fire. So wild story. Wild. I have a note here. If you're booking motor coaches home during winter weather, it says you should probably register for carrier alerts. Make sure to keep your prescription medications, your chargers, and your personal carry-on, not the under bus hold, because that's another thing. Did all of their stuff catch fire? You get on a big coach bus and they open the bottom hatch up and they let you put in your luggage and all that and you stow it away. You want to have your hands free, you want to be comfortable in the bus, so all of your big bulky luggage is underneath. Well, did all of that catch fire? Is all of the stuff gone? All your dirty laundry? I'm smiling, but it's not funny at all. If you were like, "Oh, I'm just tired, I want this stuff out of here," and you stowed all of your stuff down there, can you imagine like passports or important documents, medications, the photos you just took, all of your souvenirs? Yeah. So just something to be aware of. Not to be paranoid, because you don't want to, we can't predict the future, but that is just wild. And as I stated, no one knows the cause of this so far. Yeah. Have you ever taken a coach bus after your cruise? I definitely have. We definitely have. We took it. It was after our cruise on Princess, we were let off in Brooklyn, New York, and we decided to do a day tour there in New York. And so we were gone. It was 5 hours or something like that, a 5 hour, not a 3 hour, but a 5 hour tour all throughout New York. And then that bus took us to the airport. So I can see myself on a bus. I'm thinking in my mind, I had almost everything stowed under there except my, vlogging, my camera and my vlogging stuff. And then a little bag maybe that had like some money, a credit card and some lip gloss. But everything else was underneath. And, we were touring. We were like chill and then excited when we got to go see the sights. So I've definitely taken a motor coach, on from the cruise to the airport or back home before. So be careful. That was wild. I don't I don't know what the cause of, like I said, but well, my hair is still wet. Okay. All right. Let me know your thoughts about this one. That's wild. Now, I have more cruise news because every week the cruise news is coming, coming, coming. Let's talk about Disney. So we started off with Royal. We went on over to, well, it was the end of an MSC cruise. Now let's head over to Disney. Let me give you some Disney cruise news information. Disney made a guest friendly change. A lot of times, I don't know about you, a lot of times these cruise news stories that I share, they're not necessarily the thumbs up for us as the cruise passengers. A lot of times there are changes, right? And we don't like them. They're not the change that we wanted to hear, you know? They went from 2 times that they would clean your room to 1 time. Well, we didn't like it. Some of us, some didn't care. Some was like, good. I don't want them in my room, no way. You know, you're going to start paying now for room service and blah, blah, blah. All the changes that I report on and tell you about, a lot of times they're not necessarily for us. This is one, though, that I'm happy to share. I love giving the good changes. So let's talk about Disney Cruise Line. U.S. residents can now view and purchase cruise photos for up to 45 days after they were taken. If you are a Disney fan, Disney parks and Disney cruise lines, you can have a photo pass, right? But the deal is after you're sailing, you have to, once that sailing's over, that's it. You're not getting any more of all those beautiful pictures that you've taken all throughout the cruise, right? You had to race to make sure you got them really fast before, okay? Well, Disney has now said, all right. We're going to give you 45 days after you disembark to get those pictures. Right? So they went from one extreme to the other, not just you got to get it before you get off, but now we're going to give you a month and a half. Yeah. This applies to sailings that ended on or after January 21st. So beginning January 21st, if that is you, I'm sorry to anybody January 20th and before, you didn't get this, but January 21st of 2026 and further, this applies to you. So it's good news. I like hearing that. It says you'll use the Disney Cruise Line Photos site to review and purchase your individual shots or your packages post-cruise. The 45-day clock runs from the photo date. So not necessarily the disembarkation date, but from the date that you took that photo, not your debark date. Many outlets note pre-purchase packages can still be cheaper than buying after. So compare if you know you'll want a bundle. Yeah. So compare. A lot of things, they want us to spend as much money before we actually ever get on the cruise ship so we can feel free and feel like any spending now is just, easy. So a lot of times they offer discounts to get your things before, get your drink package before, and get your specialty dining package before, and get your photo package before. But even if you don't, you still have 45 days from the date of the photo to get your photos. So at the moment, this post cruise window is US only. Right now, this is only for US Disney cruises. International guests still need to purchase on board. Yeah. But like I said, I am very excited to offer you a positive cruise news story, something that's in the benefit of us, and we're not paying more money for it. Yeah. Yes, I like it. I am about to get on a Disney cruise very soon. Very excited about that. I'm a Disney fan. Yes, I am. I do Disney parks. I spend the money. Sometimes I fuss and complain, but I am a Disney fan. I take my kids when I was younger and they were younger. I go with my grandkids. Now that I have those, I go with my friends and family. I do Disney. I've just never had a chance to do a Disney cruise, and it's a different animal. Disney is different, distinctly different than other cruise lines. And I like that. I like that there is a different vibe for cruise lines. Virgin Voyages is a completely different vibe than NCL, right? I like that. And Carnival is a different vibe than Princess, although they are both owned by the same parent company, right? I like that. I like the fact that I can choose a different cruise line and get and have a different vibe. Disney is distinctly different. So there's certain things on Disney Cruise Lines that you don't get on any other, like their fireworks and of course their character meet and greets. It is, and it's not just for kids. You wouldn't believe how many adults only travel on Disney Cruise Lines. So this is good news. Yeah, Disney is a premium product, and this is how I'll say it. You definitely get what you pay for, right? If you go to Dollar Tree, which my family loves to say, there's nothing in there that's a dollar. They used to be called the dollar store. You guys know what I'm talking about, Dollar Tree? If you go to Dollar Tree and you get a dollar photo out, what do you call it? Not photo album, but I can't even think of the name. To place your photo in. Somebody type in the chat. You get that thing and you place your photo in it for a dollar. Let's just pretend like Dollar Tree has dollar items. Or you go to Macy's and you get the same thing. Thank you, Tiffany. Picture frame. Ugh. You get a picture frame. But then let's say you go to Macy's and you get a picture frame for $15. Same thing. They're both picture frames. They both will put your, nicely hold your photo from your cruise. The beautiful photo that you just got off of your cruise that you want to keep and have your memories. The dollar frame will hold it. The $15 frame will hold it. But you expect something different from both of those frames. You know that there's some quality involved in it. You know that this one might be so much more easier to break or bend or be thin or not the same as this one over here. You expect your $15 frame to hold up differently than your dollar frame, right? Although they're both kind of doing the same thing. Think of premium cruises the same way. You can go get a cruise, for half the price of a Disney cruise. You're going to just get a different product. They're premium. They charge you for a different experience. So it's just all in what the experience that you want, right? But Disney is giving us, yes, thank you. Disney is giving us a kudos, a thumbs up. So if you are headed to a Disney cruise, you can expect to now not have to race to get your photos by the time you step off the ship. You've got 45 days, US travelers, okay? So would you wait to look at the packages once you got home, now that you can do it, or would you book your Disney cruise photo package ahead of time? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts if you were going to go on a Disney cruise. All right. Don't forget, I see you. Smash down on that like button. I need those likes. It helps to lift me up. And thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you. Thank you. If you are not subscribed to the channel, I need you to do that right away. And let me know where you are viewing from. Next cruise news story. Looks like I need to hurry up because I got more to tell you. This one's a doozy. I also have already put this on the channel, but I had to put this one out there again. We're headed over to Carnival now. Okay. And where are we going with Carnival? We're going to go to Africa. You heard me. And there's controversy behind this, which I'm like, okay, let me tell you the story and then we can talk. We can hash it out. Carnival Cruise Lines, they're headed to Africa. They are historically the first brand. They're going to go on over to Africa. Now, there's cruise lines that go to Africa all the time. That's not what I'm talking about. This is the first time that Carnival's headed over to Africa. Let me give you the scoop. Carnival announced a first in its history scheduled African ports on the Carnival Sunshine that will begin in 2027. They're going to go to La Goulette, which is Tunis, or Tunisia is what most of us have heard it called, and Tangier, which most of us know it as Morocco. This is going to be built into their Mediterranean North Africa itineraries from Barcelona and from Rome. So in 2027, you can get on the Carnival Sunshine leaving out of Barcelona or Rome and do this Mediterranean trip that will now have North Africa in there, Tunisia and Morocco, right? Between May and October of 2027, the Carnival Sunshine will mix 7 and 10-day cruises featuring both Northern Europe ports. So they're going to go to Bari, Italy, Bar or Montenegro, Ajaccio, and I hope I'm saying these names right, which most of us know as Corsica. So that'll be part of the European portion, plus North Africa. There's also a special solar eclipse cruise, and I'm going to tell you about that in a second. But first, I want to stop and hear your thoughts about going to Africa. I have heard some of the stupidest stuff. I'm just straight up telling you, stupid, silly crap. I have heard some interesting thoughts about this. I would love to know, what are your thoughts? Do you care? You're like, so what? Next. Is this exciting? Is this cool? Do you like that they're offering something new? Would you go on a Carnival cruise, the Sunshine, and do Europe, the Med, Africa? Would you do it? I think it's exciting. I am a cruise fan. I I like cruising, and I cannot lie. I enjoy when cruising wins, when we have good options and competition, and that's exciting to me. If I never go, I like the fact that I have the choice that I could go. Okay? What about you? Does a trip to let's see, Tunisia or Morocco interest you? You can get on a cruise ship and go to Europe. You're in the Med. You can go to these beautiful places. You can go to Corsica. You can go to Montenegro. You can go to Morocco, Tunisia. That sounds like a great kind of almost like a bucket list cruise deal. But some people don't think so. Yeah, I think it sounds great. I would do it. I'm gonna say I will do it. That's in 2027. But Carnival is also offering something very unique, a very special sailing during this time. There is a solar eclipse cruise, okay? And it's time for August 2nd of 2027. So you not need to get these calendars out. I've told my family and I've told other people, if somebody who successfully goes probably on more than one cruise or on these really bucket list cruises, you plan them out years in advance. You're not looking for a 2026 cruise now. You've probably already done your 2026 cruises. You're looking at 27 or 28, especially if you like, you're putting them on, you're putting your deposit down and working it out. That's how you do it. This is how you can lock in the absolute best deals and get the room choice that you want. So, a cruise happening in 2027, now is the time for you to put your deposits down. And especially when some cruise lines are saying, deposits are $1, $45, $90, $200. This would be the time. And then you have all this time to pay. All right. So on August 2nd of 2027, they are doing this special solar eclipse cruise. And this is called the totality, the cone of totality or something like that. They're going to position it so that on August 2nd, you will be able to see this entire, like, blacked out, the whole eclipse, the totality of it, right? Sounds exciting, right from your cruise cabin, right? Wow. So this actually will depart on July 25th, 2027 from Barcelona. What about that? What do you think? Would that be, just think about it. You're going to go, let's say you decide to do the July 25 of 2027 cruise. So you're going to go to Morocco, you're going to go to Montenegro, you're going to go to Tunisia, you're going to go to Corsica, and then you're going to have this totality event of a solar eclipse right from the middle of the ocean, all on your 7 or 10 night cruise. Sign me up. I think it's great. Yes, I'm hearing yes, I would definitely go to Africa. Why not? Exactly. Why not? Why not? More options. I would love to see this. Now, after this season over there, this Carnival Sunshine will then come back to the US, and it's slated to be repositioned right here in the good old state of Texas out of Galveston. And then it will do its Caribbean runs. So, what do you think about that? Tunisia or Morocco? Which would you pick? Which one would you prefer to go to? Let's say you decided, I want to go. Would you like your cruise to be going to Tunisia, or would you like your cruise to go to Morocco? Let me know. Yep. Yep. I love it. I think it's great. I like choices. Yeah. I don't like somebody to say, here's your choice of two ice creams. Here's your choice of 10 ice creams. Am I going to eat all 10? No. But what if I wanted to think about it? Give me choices, options. So, yeah, bring it on. Morocco it is. Hey, let me at it. And then that's when I can do some history, maybe. I can see some things that I've learned from my ancestry that, ancestors or anything like that. I think it would be great. All right. You let me know what you think. I want to come over and talk to you now about MSC. Now, we talked a little bit about the bus fire that happened on MSC. Well, after the MSC cruise, but let me tell you about what MSC in particular is doing. They are opening their new mega terminal there in Miami. So MSC's Port Miami Terminal, AA, the world's largest cruise terminal, officially opened on April 5 of 2025, and it's capable of processing up to 36,000 passengers a day. But why is this big news now? Well, fast forward to this week in 2026, they also opened a new 130,000 square foot North American headquarters in downtown Miami. So they opened this mega cruise terminal, but now they have opened their North American headquarters. I've talked to you about MSC over and over, their plan of domination. But truthfully, MSC is on a mission and it's working. Their advertising is working, their marketing is working, their pricing is working, their gorgeous ships are working, their food, their entertainment. MSC says we're coming for you. We hear you like Royal and Carnival and Norwegian, but here we come. They're trying to get into this American market because the European market, they've got it. The people sell MSC. Here in America, it was always this talk about their food sucks and this and that. And their MSC said, okay, we heard you. We're coming for you. So MSC has built this humongous headquarters in downtown Miami to the tune of $100 million investment. It's expected to support about 1,500 additional jobs there and roughly $300 million a year in local economic impact. Yeah, sometimes we hear stories in the news and out there and we think, oh, there's no shortage of money. There's money being, there's money. There's money. 300 million a year. 300 million a year in local economic impact. Anybody living there in Miami need a new job? MSC might be the place for you to go. Have anyone been to this beautiful brand new MSC terminal out there? That's where how you get on the MSC World America, which people are even diehard fans of Royal and Celebrity and Regent and Norwegian are saying, yeah, the MSC World America, yeah, it's nice, yeah. It's like you got to give it its kudos. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it is, because it is. MSC ships are gorgeous. Their ships are gorgeous, and they have tightened up on the food. They're starting to offer much more American fare, things that we enjoy and we like. The quality is good, and the prices are outrageously great. I was talking to my mom about it the other day, and MSC is still offering prices on their cruise ships like yesteryear, like back way back in the day when we first started cruising and we could get on a cruise ship for $400. MSC is still offering yesteryear kind of prices as an entry to get on. Now you can get into the yacht club and pay the pretty penny for the premium experience, but entry to get on an MSC ship, you can find some outstanding deals. I'm telling you. Would you have you been on an MSC ship, and which one? Did you like it? Yeah. Let me know if any of you also have sailed through that new terminal. How was the flow? Did it help? Sometimes some of these cruise terminals can be like, ugh, a hot, sweaty, long experience. And then others flow pretty well. They've got it going like a well-oiled machine. Have you experienced that Miami terminal for MSC? Have you been on the World America? Let me know in the comments below. All right. Here's one that's going to shake up a few people. Now we're headed over to NCL. I like the mix tonight. I like the mix. I had stories from so many different cruise lines. I like that. I like that. So we're going over to NCL now. They're shaking up a few things. Let me tell you what's happening with NCL. This is effective today, or wait, effective yesterday. I have to look at the calendar. Effective January 26th of 2026, Norwegian Cruise Lines has updated their policy, their NCL Air. Like, let's say you decide you're going to take an NCL cruise and you purchase their air package. So let's say I leave out of DFW and I'm going to get on a flight there in Miami. So I've purchased that air. Okay. Well, if you've booked airfare through NCL, you'll be ticketed to arrive at least one day before your embarkation. No more same day arrivals. The rule applies to new air inclusive bookings and existing reservations that get repriced after January of 26. So what does that mean? I mean, it wouldn't affect me at all because there's no way, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that because I've definitely gone in the day of, but I preach it. I preach it. I preach it. Make sure you go the day before. If you're headed to I don't care if you even live close by that city. You live in Miami, get over to where the cruise ship is going to be. Too many things happen, too much weird, random stuff. So just go a day at least, go at least a day before your cruise so you can enjoy that very place where you're going to cruise out of. Go and explore that place, have some dinner there, have some music, have some drinks, and explore, enjoy that port at least a day before. That's the mantra. That's what I'm going to stick with. Everybody doesn't. NCL said, well, if you're booking with us for the cruise and air, we're making sure you do. They're going to book you a day before. So the hotel is not automatically included. Guests cover their own pre-cruise night. So just because they're going to book you the day before, it doesn't all of a sudden come with the hotel. You still got to purchase your own hotel, or you can bundle it with the NCL Hotel Plus because they do have that program. If you want it all packaged, you certainly can. This change also impacts free at sea airfare. You'll still get the air perk, but you'll fly in the day before. Bottom line is you come the day before at least. The rationale is straightforward. Why are they doing this? They want to reduce missed embarkations due to flight delays, things like what's been going on with this winter storm Fern, weather, which we've seen in volumes this winter. It happens. We know it happens. Sometimes it's something we messed up, but a lot of times, no, it's not. What the shutdown and what happened in Puerto Rico and the weather and just weird stuff, flight delays for whatever reason. Yeah. So now if you book with NCL, their air programs, you are flying in a day before, and then you have to cover your own hotel, unless, of course, you book the Hotel Plus package with them. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about this? Let's see. Smart to come the day before. Yeah, I think so too. I would do it anyway. It just means whatever day my cruise is, my vacation starts the day before, at least. Sometimes, going even 2 or 3 days before. So I can really enjoy the city that I'm leaving out of. And I can just have that peace of mind, that chill vibe. Yep. I'd love to know, do you always fly in the day before your cruise? Or do you book it that day of? You get up early and get on a red-eye flight 5 a.m. so you can get there to be that person on the ship at 2 or 3. Do you always fly in the day before? I'd love to know. Yeah. It's always a good idea to go a day before. Yep. I'm getting the consensus. Go a day before, at least. Some people say, well, I can't. I couldn't get off. I understand. If you can't, you can. You're doing the best you can just by trying to get there, on time and not miss your cruise. But if you're flying with NCL and doing their air package, you have to. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. NCL, okay. I'm not mad at you. Some people might be. Yeah. Yep. What do you think? Whew, I made it. I got all the cruise news in. I was getting nervous because, all these Super packed, juicy stories. Yeah. We always go a day before your cruise. Yep. It's the best thing to do. It's the best thing. I live, like I say, in Texas. And when there's a cruise out of Galveston, I'm there the day before. I don't care. I could get on the road in 4 or 5 hours and make it. Ain't doing it. Not going to happen. Nope. How many times have I been to Galveston? A bunch. And I still get to explore new, wonderful things that I hadn't seen or done before. So it doesn't matter. Day before is the rule. Yep. Yep. I want you to tell me about these stories. Which one of these stories caught you off guard? Did you know about all this cruise news? And even, today I've seen new serious cruise news stories coming in. There's been some sickness on one of the ultra luxury ships. And it's a little surprising just because of, the standard that they keep, but people get sick on any ship. And it doesn't take you to be on a ship to get sick. Any place where people gather, um, hospitals, it happens a lot in hospitals, it happens a lot in schools, much more than it does on cruise ships. You just hear about it more. But cruise news, it's fast and furious. So we got a lot to talk about. All right, but I'm switching gears now. I want to tell you about some incredible cruise deals. All right, wave season. Remember, we're still doing wave season. Wave season is from January through March. So that's the good news. If you hadn't decided you're going to save your money and put down some deposits yet, decide, think about it. Do it. Do it. Put down your money. Decide you want to go on a cruise. Sit down and figure out where you want to go, what ship you want to go, what cruise line, and get your money. Get your $50, your $100. And now is the time to lock it in, even if you're not going to 27, 28. Let me give you some deals. January through March of 2026. Here are some of the latest cruise deals. We're going to start with one that I hadn't talked about much yet. Holland America. And some people say that's an old folks cruise. I don't care. I don't care. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. I want to try different cruise experiences. I also vlog my experiences. So I want to try them myself and I want to share them with you. I want to dispel myths. I want to find out the truths. I want to see the vibe. I want to hear the music. I want to see the entertainment. How are the people that I'm there with? How are the staff? I want to experience that. So I don't care what the myth is. I want to see what's really going on and share it with you. So Holland America right now, they're doing 30% off their cruises, 30% off cruise fares. And this is across many of their 2026 itineraries. So it's making it a really strong contender here. They also are giving free balcony upgrades. So many itineraries offer complimentary balcony upgrades. So think about it. You book an an ocean view and get bumped up to a balcony. I like that. Yeah. Letting guests book an ocean view and sail in a balcony when it's available. Also, they have up to $500 of onboard credit. Remember, onboard credit is cash money, cash money. They're giving you money back. Holland America is participating in this year's onboard credit surge. Many are. Up to $500 in onboard credit, and it does depend on, and that's per stateroom, not per person, depending on the itinerary, depending on the length, and depending on the cabin type that you're in. So this is the Holland America. It's been given the term that it's for seniors. Definitely not true, but it is very much enrichment focused. It's not so much about the splash and the glitz. It's enrichment. When you go to the ports, a lot of talking about the history of the ports, the culture, the food, a lot of that. So Holland America, if that hadn't been on your radar, they're doing some things to make the deal good, right? Disney Cruise Line, Disney, they're doing it big. Disney has 35% off select sailings. So someone mentioned they're expensive, they're premium. So now is the time if you would like to see, well, what do I get? If I go ahead and spend this money, what do I get? Will I feel different? Will I be treated different? Is it, I want to experience this. Now is the time to experience a premium line at a discount, up to 35% off some select sailings, especially on the Disney Wish, the Disney Dream, and the Disney Treasure. They have what's called a seize the moment offer. When this is 25% off the fare, plus $250 of onboard credit. And that's on select Disney Wish and Disney Dream sailings from April through July of 2026. So what is that? 40% off the voyage and up to 250 credit or $250 of onboard credit. And the categories, certain depending on certain categories. This is good through March 29th of 2026. So now is the time. Get on that Disney Wish or that Disney Dream, get 20% off the fare, and get $250 of onboard credit. That pays for your gratuities, for what it pays for whatever else you want. You can use it's cash, it's money. So now is the time. So any Disney cruise fans out there? Yeah, I truly enjoy the onboard credit. It's wonderful. It's money. It's money. You can use that money to do something that maybe you hadn't decided to do without it. Maybe now that you have 250 sitting there, you would go to a specialty restaurant. You would see what it's all about. Maybe you would go to the spa and have like just a spa day. Maybe you would go ahead and do one of the excursions through the ship. Maybe you would use it to pay your gratuity. So when you step on board, you don't owe a thing. It's your money. So onboard credit's a good deal. Also, they have Florida resident, Canadian resident, and military rates for Disney. Disney currently shows 65 plus sailings with these special offers. So that's a lot. They're giving you choices. We talked about that. Military gets onboard credit also, $250 on select 2026 sailings. You can get 35% off guaranteed categories. A lot of times guaranteed, it's the lowest way to get in, but you just never know where you're going to be and why would you do that? Well, you're getting another 35% off. And these are going out of Fort Lauderdale, Galveston, Port Canaveral, San Diego. Yep, it's a good deal. I have time to give you two more, at least. Let's go over to Royal. Many people love Royal Caribbean. Let me give you some reasons to love it more. How about up to $1,000 of onboard credit? Bam. Give me $1,000. Let me tell you, they also have free third and fourth guests. So here's a way that my family has been able to cruise very economically. We bring a third guest. Most of the prices that are quoted to you are for two people in a cabin. Well, when you add that third person, usually it's a cheaper rate, and then it's split over three. You get just a cheaper rate or fourth person in the cabin, usually. Okay. So many family size itineraries, they're offering third and fourth guests. This is good for families or also good for groups. Or if you have like three of you that would like to save, it is a good savings, right? So free third and fourth guests is an excellent savings. You can bring the four of you and split it by two. Come on now. Up to 40% off some onboard extras, like drink packages, dining packages, like the internet. So if you're going to get it anyway, isn't it great to get 40% off of it? Come on. And then kids sail free on some of these Royal Caribbean cruises on select weeks. Now, this is especially going to be an attractive deal for multi-generational groups like me. If I want to take my grandkids and then I have my kids there, that would work perfectly, right? Yeah. There's also things going on like reduced deposits, buy one, get one offers. For instance, Celebrity Cruises has a semi-annual sale where they're doing up to 75% off the second guest, plus up to $700 of onboard credit with the third, fourth, or fifth guest free. There are terms and conditions. If you want to know more specific details, DM me, let me know, and I can look it up for you. But there are terms and conditions to these. But if you do it right, 75% off the second guest. Okay. Up to $700 onboard credit, and then your third, fourth, and fifth, you can get a smoking hot deal if there's more people going and you have 3 or 4 people going with this deal. You almost get this 4 people for the price of 1 person. Come on now, and I can help you get that deal. I'm going to stop there because our time is running out. I have way more wave season deals because they keep coming. My inbox is just bombarded daily with new cruise deals that are coming. So that's the good news. If you are looking to book a cruise now, next year, or even the next year, be excited because wave season, they are looking to help you book. They're definitely they've got some deals going out there for you. So yeah. I've got more deals, but I'm going to wrap this up now. It is time for me to eat, and it is time for me to let you go and enjoy the next live that you might be ready to see, or just enjoy your Tuesday night. I thank you so much for sharing Tuesday night with me. Thank you. Thank you. Um, that that's all the cruise news that I have for you tonight. That's some of the cruise deals. I'm going to keep it going, and make sure that you have given us a like. Share this with anybody who enjoys cruising. Let them know that we're here every Tuesday night doing our Tuesday night live. All righty. Wonderful. I got it all in. Thank you so much. Have a good Tuesday. Stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you, everyone. All right. Bye. Have a good night.